Hello everyone, and welcome back to DexSaves, the Exandrian Adventures. We've been on a little bit of a hiatus due to the holidays and, my terrible scheduling. But, we're back after a couple weeks. So, just to refresh you, I am Andrew Lightwood, and I'm your DM. And today we're a little short, but around the table...
I'm Jonah, and I play Garm, the Dragonborn Paladin.
I'm Brian, I play Note, the Kenku Rogue, and am going to pilot Morzog.
I am Kayla Lightwood, and I play Ivana Nagaranwan, the Water Genasi Druid, and I guess I'll be piloting Isif.
Or did you prefer Morzog?
No matter.
Okay.
I'm cool to pilot.
I just remember. Action Surge and Shield.
And last time that we had left off, the party had made their way was teleported from Rasona all the way to the other end of the world on the continent of Asilra. Specifically the vast religious city of Vasselheim, to find that it was under siege by an unknown force. Upon exploring the town, it seemed that the invading force were that of multiple different kinds of shadow beasts, like gloomstalkers and shadowghasts, that had went through and not completely taken over the town, but had spread their forces pretty wide among the city. But Vasselheim being what it is, the people there had been prepared for pretty much anything, seeing as how Vasselheim has been under siege, multiple different times and has never fallen. The party battled their way through the town, rested within the Temple of the Dawnflower, before making their way up toward what seemed to be the main bastion of defense, which was the Platinum Sanctuary, deep within the city. And upon making it up the large amount of steps leading up to the temple, they helped defend the immediate entrance to the temple before bursting in and encountering a very tall elven figure that Garm was very familiar with, as it was High Bearer Vord, the leader of the Platinum Sanctuary, who was in the middle of commanding his troops in the defense of the city whenever the party had burst in. A lot of their spells and abilities expended and in need of a very well-deserved rest, but still trying to forge their way into a place where they could have that moment of respite. And that's where we are currently at.
Don't forget the very important bit of we finally got someone to cast Greater Restoration on Morzog.
Oh yes, and Morzog's attunement to the cursed axe that he's been carrying around for a while has finally been broken.
So can the axe still be used, just not attuned, or...?
Yes, he doesn't get the... Basically what it does, since it's not attuned anymore, is he doesn't get the health point bonus that it previously gave him, but it's still a +1 axe. So the only thing it does now is just give him a +1 to his attack and damage.
In that case, I think his greatsword is better.
What's the damage?
2d6 + 5. Wait, I guess I should click on him since this doesn't show the whole... Yeah, well, so the great axe is 1d12 + 4, and the greatsword is 2d6 + 5.
Then yeah, the greatsword's better.
Oh, maybe you lose
because you're automatically.
Maybe you lose the +1 because he's not tuned anymore.
That's usually how that works. That's why you get +1.
Oh, I thought it was just a +1. Oh, fuck.
Unless we take the curse away from the magic items, then.
That's fair. Okay. So yeah, I guess his great sword would be better now.
Because you would have the lowest be 2 as opposed to the lowest be 1.
Yeah. +5.
Alright, so after annihilating the shadow ghasts and gloomstalkers that harried the front entrance to the Platinum Sanctuary, you burst into the large double doors of the Platinum Sanctuary. This giant
With Kima.
Ah, yes, with Kima. You did meet up with Kima halfway. Sorry, I have the burps. Ouch. Anyway, you burst in with Kima, who had helped you fend off the shadow creatures. And within you see a tall, slender, elven man that is... Elves, when they age, they don't age like most humanoids do, where over time they slowly seem to kind of look more frail and like degrade and get wrinkly. When elves age, they usually do it very gracefully. And the way you can tell that Vord is very old is because he still looks like what would be a human's, I'll say like 50, maybe 60, but like he did it he's holding it very well.
It's like the dapper gentleman in the hipster outfit.
Pretty much. He is currently wearing these long white robes, and you can see dangling from a chain around his neck is a picture of it almost looks like a kite shield, but on it is a sideways dragon head, which you know is the symbol of Bahamut.
In profile?
Yeah, in profile. Thank you. His hair is slicked back against his head. He has no facial hair. The hair is completely white. And
what was his name?
High Bearer Vord. Which he... I don't believe he's quite introduced himself yet, but just for, I guess, future sake. He's currently sitting kind of in the middle of the room, surrounded by different, you can tell, like, high-ranking paladins and soldiers who are... they currently sit at like a table that has a large map that's been drawn across it, and you can't quite make out the conversation he's currently having, but you can see him like looking up at different of these armored entities, and are pointing to different parts of this map and making hand gestures of, you know, probably saying like, hey, you go here, that kind of thing, let's move our forces this way. But the inside of the sanctuary at the current moment is a cacophony of different voices and sounds, barking orders or taking orders. Large suits of armor clanking across the stonework as different troops are being led one way or another. Kima just kind of walks past both you, hoisting her giant white greatsword that is a little taller than she is. She just kind of hoists it over her shoulder and walks through like she owns the place. But all of you are currently sweating profusely from the non-stop battle that you guys have had to endure since you walked in. The armor is sticking to you underneath, even through your underclothes and places. You're exhausted and weakened. All of your clothes have some kind of scuffs or marks from the dirt and grime and blood that's been spilled.
Hey, note, could I get a prestidigitation?
Does Arana sweat? Just perpetually wet?
I'm always wet, so like.
Wouldn't know if you were.
Pretty much.
Questions for
I'm
another.
warm. If anything, I'm more likely to steam, I guess.
Questions for another day.
Do birds sweat?
No, they do not. You must cool off in water.
Hilrana.
I got you.
Do lizards sweat?
Not most of them.
I don't think so.
They don't have... They're cold-blooded animals. They don't need to sweat. They just go and sit in the shade.
Biology.
Yeah.
Whoosh.
So technically the only one sweating is Morsok.
Well, I guess technically. But the rest of you are pretty winded and exhausted.
Gassed.
There you go.
I'll try and freshen up the socks.
There's only so much you can do with those.
Out of all the things that are just jokes that we've made canon, I think that one's my favorite. It's Morzog perpetually has stinky ass socks.
Brand new pair, still stinky as fuck.
Yep.
Because you don't switch the boots and the socks at the same time, so it's just new pairs of socks goes in them old ass boots, and then new boots while the socks. Yeah. Could we make poison by boiling one of more socks?
Oh god. Probably.
We'll try it later.
Or at least some kind of stink bomb that looks like something out of Hook and the Lost Boys.
That's our next breach and clear technique.
Open the door real quick, chuck in a sock, and you just hear people fall to the ground.
Yeah. Instead of a tidal wave, we're just gonna throw socks.
Yep.
Put a bar of soap in a sock and just.
No. See, we throw the bar of soap, or we throw the sock, and then in order for us to come in, we still do the tidal wave, but that's so we can just go in more, with ease.
Tidal wave pushes everybody against the wall. Be like, perfect. You're all in the same place. As some of the soldiers kind of seem to disperse in places, you see Kima has approached the table where Vord and these higher-ranking soldiers are sitting. Probably like captains of the guard, or at least of the guard here at the Platinum Sanctuary. You see she exchanges a few words, and Vord turns and looks up and sees the group of you, and escorts, or not escorts, but Kima walks over with Vord, approaching you guys. And he just... Hello. Gone. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
What is the word from below?
We're into a few, but not as many as there were here.
It it seems that the entities have spread themselves pretty wide throughout the city. From what I've heard, they have not made it to the outer ring, but we seem to be getting the thick of it. And you can still hear, kind of through the double doors, there's still combat going on outside. You guys had kind of, like, basically thinned out the wave that was there whenever you would come in. But it's still happening pretty thick outside. We hope to keep them back at least for a while. Our soldiers are tired and need to rest.
Yeah, we cut through as many as we could on the way up here, just like the good old bad days.
Ah, yes. Many memory of that day still sits well within my mind, and this has a lot of its fingerprint all over it. Is there anything you know that I do not?
Plenty, I think.
Do tell. And he kind of like inadvertently leads the group, like walking and talking, and stops by like a little almost like a little station in the corner that they've set up where injured soldiers have been kind of gathered, and some of the clerics are trying to heal their wounds as best they can, or at least trying to, bandage them up via medical kits and using spells on the really bad ones.
I'll go help where I can.
Okay. How many spell slots do you have left?
I actually have a lot. I just checked.
Oh, really?
I only used 3 spells, apparently.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
because all that cool fighting we did, you acted twice.
Yeah, that's right. Because
Yeah,
I had
you
that good old apparent cleric initiative, even though I'm not the cleric.
Yeah.
Everything died
You guys-
before it was
yeah.
your turn.
I remember now.
Sorry, babe.
That's fine.
It's rough.
It happens.
It sucks.
Makes you feel any
Everyone was
better.
pissed about it, but
Makes you feel any better. I used all my spell slots. And one unconscious ones.
Are all your spell slots gone?
Yes.
How are you doing, Note?
I think I only used I did the Shadow Blade. I'm trying to.
Misty Step?
I didn't do the
No,
Misty
she
Step.
No, she knows a spell called Shadow Blade.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
summoned my Shadow Blade to try my new thing. And then I used my regular one because it had the radiant damage, which is better against these things anyway.
Yeah. And part of Shadow Blade says that it summons the like a sword in your hand, but the sword is a finesse weapon, so
Yeah.
worked with sneak attack and all that shit. So I was like, oh fuck.
Does psychic damage for some reason.
Yeah.
Yes. See the sword? It totally exists.
Totally real, right here in my hand. Stab. But he leads you over to this part of the basically fortress, which that's pretty much the makeup of the Platinum Sanctuary. Is that whenever you approach it, it looks less like a temple and more like a fortress, like something very militaristic. Like there is no way you're getting through here without a rocket launcher, kind of thing. But he takes you past this area to where they have stored water skins and rations of food and stuff for the soldiers that are currently outside, and seems to kind of hand you all like a small water skin and what is basically like hardtack protein bar to keep you going, and something just to kind of like put into your belly and kind of refresh you.
I make it all taste like bacon.
And just kind of turns in. So tell me what you know, and I'll give you what I know.
So, from what I understand, There's the. Let's see, what did I. This guy, this fuckface dude. That's what I've written down here.
His eyebrow does a big arch of go on.
And from what I understand, he wants to repeat the nightmare that we went through, but more successful than the last one.
I assume you're talking about Vecna.
Yes.
So you're saying we're dealing with a lunatic?
Pretty much. And other people seem to think like that too. Killed 2 of them. He's been setting up income, supplies, funding other people's deranged garbage.
Whenever the attack happened 5 years ago, we had assumed, obviously, that not all of Vecna's followers were dealt with. They were too spread out too much. But we were certain that we had gotten most of his followers and forces. But it seems we missed somebody apparently in pretty high up on the food chain.
Fellow calls himself the Serpent. Claims to be the...
Cast a comment from Martha.
Yes.
Claims to be the second, I guess. Claims to be Vecna's second.
Given from what I know, or what I've been told, this fellow, the Serpent, you call him, must have been somewhere within the same vein as Cass, the lieutenant that Vecna had what would be... How long is a millennia?
A million years. Jesus, 1,000 years.
1,000.
Okay. So, okay. He must be within the same vein as Cass, which is Vecna's lieutenant from decades ago. Before, let's see, Vecna would have tried his hand probably before the Calamity. So, at least 800 years ago. I'd say. Probably. Cass was his lieutenant that had sworn to him, and he had made Cass into a vampire to help him to live forever and be by his side. But at the last minute, Cass had betrayed Vecna and sealed him away, but at the cost of his life. This person must be in that same vein, but more dedicated.
More stupid.
That's another way to put it. Do you know where he is at the current moment?
He's a bit of a cautious prick. Only 2 of us have even spoken with him.
Which 2?
Yeah.
That one and the big one.
He looks over at both Elrona and Morzog and... what did he say to you whenever you saw him? Anything that would give him away?
Oh, the usual bad guy spiel. I'll hunt down your families. Better go check on them. Yeah. Oh, good show. Good show. Yeah.
Pretty much that. And that he was where it all began.
Where it all began. Well, that could mean a couple of things, but it could also be referencing where Vecna had finally taken godhood. Yeah, they do that all the time.
So cute.
Let's just try to kill each other.
Julian will lick Contra's head and then they both get mad.
They do it when they think nobody's looking.
Which, if he's referring to the latter, then he's probably farther up the mountain atop the Titan. But that wouldn't... well, that would explain where all of these things are coming from. We had sent a few Wyvern Riders to check out what some of us are just calling the anomaly farther atop the mountain. You could probably see it as you came in, which you did. Higher atop the mountain, kind of propped up lopsided, is the giant, I say giant, but I mean this thing is gargantuan in size, like miles high, and probably most of a mile, and probably a few miles long or wide, that has kind of been propped kind of lopsided atop the mountain, is the like humongous gargantuan, I'm not sure the size range for it,
Big.
primordial titan that had been resurrected and then re-killed after Vecna had died. That is now kind of... So now you have the actual mountain that's like basically the bottom of it's where all of the city has been built. And then just kind of this jut off of it where the Titan, who kind of has like a figure of like a human that's hunched, and like what would be like the back of the head, the neck, and the shoulders is all just this large flat plane. You guys saw like this dome of blackness coming from it, and just more of those things pouring out to come down to the city. But we had sent a few Wyvern Riders to inspect what we just call the anomaly atop the Titan, and they have not reported back. We don't know if they're dead or alive. We assume they're dead, as you know,
As custom.
as custom. But whatever is going on is happening there, and they are keeping us harried enough to where we have not tried to send another team of Wyvern Riders up there.
Wyvern can carry more dog, right?
A white. So yeah.
A Wyvern could carry more Zog, right?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know how big they are. We killed one or two, so.
Yeah, they're. I think wyverns are considered giant size. So they're big enough to fit like one or from where they're like where the usual saddle would sit for a wyvern rider. You could probably fit like one or two people. But the majority of you look exhausted. Do you think that you would be able to, A, rest, and B, after you were done resting, be able to traverse your way farther up the mountain if we were to give you a way up?
At this point, this is the third continent we've chased this fucker to. I'm not exactly gonna stop.
I'm sorry that you've had to traverse as much as you had.
That hasn't even been a month. Whee.
It's been a trip.
Yeah, shit.
We spent longer traveling to fucking Amman.
Whatever. My will, I can make the distances. I actually need to, like, look at the Exandrian calendar and actually, like, gauge how long you guys have been going.
I mean, I could go back and count through my thing, but
that'd be awesome because you took all the notes.
Because usually a session is a day or two, up to 3.
depending.
So at probably at the most, you guys have been going maybe a month, I think. So yeah, you guys have been moving pretty quick trying to hunt this fucker. I mean, plus I kind of want to keep track of that better because I think it'd be really cool if for some reason you guys ended up in Taldore again and got to experience Winter's Crest.
Well, you started us at the beginning of spring, so it'd be a tick.
Thank you for remembering that.
And
What?
then we can put down our birthdays.
I do want to get the Exandrian calendar they have on the Critical Role shop where everything is all pinups. Love that.
I'm just wondering, because I don't know how their calendar goes. Is it anything like the Lord of the Rings calendar where they actually squared off the months and they aren't random like ours?
They aren't fucky.
I don't know the Lord of the Rings calendar, so...
It's very... Like, there's 30 days in each, or there's... It's very squared off. There's...
28 days each month.
No. It kind of works like ours where, I think there's actually 2 months of the Exandrian calendar that have weird days. Like, one has 28 and the other has 30... No. There are 2 that have, like, 28 instead of just 1. And then everything else has, like, 30 to 31-ish days, roughly, I think. I'll have to check again, but pretty sure. But, he says we can give you a place to rest to try to recover, and if you so chose, we can give you a small, a couple of the wyverns that we still have to get you farther up and at least drop you off near the Titan to a part of it, but we only have 2. They were wyverns that had lost their riders, and the wyverns had come back, but and he kind of like looks over to Morzog and Asif, who are just these tall hulking masses amongst you guys, and then Garm, who's in like, you know, like thick chainmail and shield and sword, and is just like, it might be a little bit of a tight fit, but
Asif can fly.
yeah, Asif can fly.
He can fly. That one's small enough to be carried while flying. We'll figure out the other 2. 3, whatever.
Her and I equal 1 more dog. With all of our gear.
So you get to ride with me or Morzog.
Yeah, God. Let me look through this a little more.
We determined this last time.
Yeah.
if they're considered large. But yeah, he kind of looks at you and says it might be a little bit of a tight fit. Asif just pipes up and goes, Asif can fly. He does not need wyvern. And Void replies with, oh, well, we don't see very many of your kind down here in the lower part of the continent, so yes, I guess you can. Regardless, you know, if you would like to, that is up to you. Which, from my taking, you've been chasing him for long enough. Why stop now? If you would like, he gestures kind of like down the hall. There is a room we've been using for some of our troops to swap out resting, and currently it's currently mostly empty. So if you would like, there are some cots for you to be able to lay down at least for a while. If you would like, you can proceed down there and find me whenever you're ready.
Excuse me. This is gonna need to be a long rest, if anything.
Oh yeah.
Because if not, then there's no point.
Because I only get one thing back with a short rest, and I haven't. So.
But he gestures down the hall and proceeds back to the main area where he was doing his planning and whatnot.
Is Bastion with us still?
Hmm?
Is he gonna stay here? Or is he gonna climb on a wyvern and...
Or like fucking sprout rings because
Why not,
it's
right?
Bastion.
he just barks and starts floating. Her tail whips like a helicopter.
Why do I see a doggy paddling through the air?
I mean, I don't know. Is Bastion going to stay there?
Generally, we prefer Bastion to come with us,
But then Bastion has to ride a wyvern. I don't know
Or
how well
someone
that's gonna
has
work.
to carry Bastion while riding a wyvern. Yeah.
I could do that technically.
Or Asif can carry Bastion.
Beautiful point. We're doing that.
So long rest?
Yeah.
Long rest.
So you guys can go ahead and put in for your long rest. You go down the hall, and kind of on the left is this kind of longer room that is almost what would be a barracks. But they seem to have wedged some. Oh, okay. They seem to have like wedged some cots in between where the beds are in some places. You can see there are still a couple of people in here. Couple of them look like they're maybe overflow. Oh, please. There may be overflow from the injured persons section. As some of them kind of lay down and have like a bandage around their head. Or maybe like a cast or something that's been looped around an arm. You see one of them is like just getting settled into a cot and seems to throw like a really thin blanket over that has stripped down to what would be like his underclothes and has just thrown his armor in the corner. Trying to get as comfortable as he possibly can. But
Before I go to bed, I'll go and dump whatever healing or whatever and to any people in the sanctuary who are getting healed.
Okay. Are either of... I'll go ahead and say that just for the sake of getting through a little bit, Morzog and Asaph just go ahead and immediately find a place to lay down. They prop their weapons up and try to get as comfortable as possible and just kind of, big chillin'.
I did say the rooms I could get us would suck.
It's true. Better than an alleyway.
But are either of you two wanting to do anything before you lay down?
Prestidigitation, of course.
Sure. Make everybody a little less stinky, a little more clean.
Yeah.
Just gonna make sure all my stuff's in order.
You sift through all of your, check your bag and all your equipment. Everything seems to still be in working order.
Pound out the dents a little bit.
No. Your chainmail is starting to get a little worse for the wear because you've taken some hits, especially here. And as you kind of look through it, you can see some pieces where the rings are starting to not, be as together. There's still some. Well, she prestidigitated, so everything looks clean. But you can definitely see the wear and tear where the rings have been pushed in and dented or, cut through in places, but still workable. But you'd imagine that you probably need to be looking for a new set of armor here soon. The Frostbrand sword kind of gives off that slow little bit of steam in the kind of heated room temperature, heated from the bodies. In Vasselheim, it's usually cold, but with all the running around and all these bodies in this room and everything else, it's pretty warm in here. Plus, there's kind of a small fireplace in the middle of the room against the wall, and it's just kind of perpetually exuding heat. So as you kind of inspect the blade, make sure there's no nicks or rolls or anything. The blade's holding up perfectly, as magical blades would, and it just kind of lets off that low little bit of steam from the cold that exudes from it. And your new shield, you look at the front, and it's giving you a reflection in different angles because of the shattered, glass look to it. But everything seems to be in working order. Bastion has found a place at the foot of one of the cots and has curled up into a little into a sleeping position, and his fluffy tail has kind of went over his nose as he is also trying to find rest in this situation. Ilrana, you head down to the room that they were using as basically an infirmary. Oh, don't start this. You can see that there are a few clerics that are having to run around this room that are trying to, like I said before, trying to use healing kits on some, like wrapping in bandages and applying salves and medicine. And then the people that come in with wounds that seem a little more mortal, they will expend their spells to be able to try to immediately tend to the injury. And as you walk into the room, one of the clerics kind of passes by you real quick, holding a what looks like a basin filled with or like be a basin, holding a water basin that has a bunch of bloody rags that have been tried to wash out inside, and kind of stops in front of you and goes, "Are you hurt, dear?"
Nope, here to help.
Oh, okay. And she looks over and she's like, We have healing kits over there. She points to like a corner where there's like small little boxes and where bandages and certain things are kind of like poking out of places where they've kind of just haphazardly grabbed what they needed. She's like, there are healing kits over there. If you know how to heal magically, try to save any of that for the really bad ones. And I guess don't get in anybody's, don't bump into anybody and find someone. And she just like rushes off and is trying to like, refill and wash and stuff. As you look about, you can see there are, you can have how many spell slots do you have?
4.
Okay, so.
I had 4th level, 2 first, and a 3rd. Or a 2nd. Hold on. That number doesn't add up correctly. Two, 2, 2, 1. So yeah, I hadn't used my 4th level, 2/3, 2 seconds.
So you have 5 spell slots.
Yes.
Okay. And do you just want to do? Are you just wanting to use cure wounds at all those levels to
Distributed
distribute it amongst? Okay.
to who needs it. Obviously, healing kits when better.
Oh, okay.
She is intelligent enough to know this. You need healing or you're going to die. A healing kit is not going to stop you from dying.
Okay. Kind of walking amongst the soldiers that are laying on the cots and they're not necessarily on cots as much as they are on just large like some of them are laying on beds, but others have had to be put on the floor just on a blanket, basically. You can see a few of them like have, defensive wounds or possibly broken bones from like shattered shields or like dents in the armor that have probably broken some ribs or something. You pass. Go ahead and make a medicine check for. As you walk by, you're just kind of like grabbing a couple of people that seem to have not so much terrible injuries.
15.
Okay. So you grab a couple of things or a couple of rolls of wrap and
Gauze.
yeah, and seem to find a couple of people who have like gashes across their arm that haven't been dealt with yet. So you walk up and just kind of like use your ability to manipulate water to be able to clean the wound off and then wrap it up, and they kind of look at you and give their thanks before kind of like laying their head back and trying to relax as much as they can. And you pass by a few of the entities or people, and you only find like 2 that are probably of need of a spell slot, and you like as you're expending your second spell slot to take care of a soldier, the door comes open and you can see that one guy is being basically drug in. His body is completely limp. They toss him onto a bed, and you can see like a part of the armor along the side has just been sundered. Like he is like all of the silver armor that goes down his right side is just red from blood loss. And a couple of these clerics are trying to like get it taken care of, and one of them complains that she doesn't have the ability anymore, and another complains about how they only have one left and it's not very powerful.
I'll go up and help.
As you go up, you can see so the guy on the table is a brown hair half elf that the armor and chainmail has been ripped apart. Large gashes and claw marks are littered among his where the rib cage would end and the stomach abdomen would begin. And you can probably barely see the chest rising, and he probably doesn't have very long.
Okay, I'll go ahead and do 4th level cure wounds.
As you approach, the clerics just kind of look over at you and get ready. They get halfway through are you able to help? Do you have anything? Before you kind of put your hand out against toward the wound, and what is the kind of perpetual kind of wetness to your visage just kind of exudes in this visage of clear, super clear water that seems to encompass the large wound on his side, and it gives a soft green glow underneath as the you can see kind of underneath the wound start to kind of stitch itself up and remake new skin where there was none. The body, or the part of the armor and the body is still littered with blood, but you can see the wound has closed. And he seems to take a little bit deeper breaths, but he's still unconscious.
I'll basically just shoo them off, and I'll take care of them. Tell them to go find someone else.
Okay. They both look at you and thank you, and walk off and are trying to deal with others who are in need. And the skin that has reappeared kind of is that definitely that newly formed skin where it's a little bit more pink than the rest of his skin. He's a young half-elf that looks like he's what would be the equivalent of a human's late 20s. So for a half-elf, probably his, somewhere from early to mid 30s. Because they got a couple extra years they got. And
oh, he's a half-elf.
Yeah, he's a half-elf.
Oh, yeah, I read that down.
His hair is kind of medium length, but is just tousled all with shit, so you're not quite sure if it's supposed to be curly or if it's supposed to be straight because it is just fucked. His face is dirty as hell.
I'll take his armor off, and once it's all off, then I'll clean him with my shape water.
Okay.
I don't have precipitation. It isn't quite as fast, but it's still faster than normal things.
You're able to kind of weasel some of the hardest part is the chest piece.
It's already fucked. I don't care.
Yeah, I was gonna say because as you're like trying to like navigate, propping him up to take some of the belts off and stuff, the part of the armor, both the front and the back along that side, is just like looks like somebody threw it into the blade of a combine. Just looks like shit. But you're able to get it off and toss it to the side, and it clanks to the floor, and everything else from there is just is pretty easy. And his underclothes is there's still the chainmail and the padding, which the chainmail is kind of a bitch too because you got to try and weasel that off of him. And he is unconscious through the whole thing, like definitely breathing a little more regularly, but still out. And you eventually, it takes you the better part of like 10-15 minutes to weasel him out of all of this. And he now lays there in what is basically like a very sweat-soaked tunic and breeches that are basically plastered to him via sweat and blood.
No, it's everything. It's all good enough.
Oh. Okay, so
Dirty clothes aren't good.
Yeah, that's fair. So you're able to cut the tunic and breeches off. No big deal. They're fucked anyway.
I'm gonna give him a fucking blanket because I'm not. Whereas I don't have problems. I realize that's not something that normal people do. So give him a blanket. Plus, I don't want him to get cold and go fucking hypothermia and shit.
And as he lays there, you kind of use your water manipulation to clean everything off and
should come with you. As I can warm things up too with this situation.
That's fine.
Get them all cleaned up. The dirt and the grime and the blood kind of washes off. And like pretty handsome guy. You know. Not sure what color his eyes are, but like judging by like bone structure, jawline, all that stuff, pretty nice looking dude. Still pass the fuck out. But at the current moment, nothing too bad seems to be coming in, and you're able to find other people to expend the rest of your spell slots on, which at that point you would have 2 left. Could be the 2, then that guy. 2. But amongst all the hubbub, that guy seemed to be the worst of it at the moment. Is there anything else you want to do before you finally go into rest?
No? Check on him one last time, make sure he's seemingly alright.
So before you walk out of the room, you hop back to him, and he's still laying on his back and out. His head is kind of like lolled off to the side, but like other than that.
Okay.
You head back out and down the hall and find a cot or bed to plop down in.
Maybe back the fuck to sleep.
Let's see. If I'm correct, you should awaken 8 hours later in the early morning, I think.
Well, let's do some quick maths. Whenever we left Persona, in that part of the world, it was noon. So, going to Vasselheim would have made it early morning. Couple hours there, short rest, 3-ish hours would have made it noon-ish there by the time we made it to the Platinum Dragon.
Okay, so then you awake 8 hours in the night. But given the state that you came in, where the sky was already pretty darkened, it's kind of hard to tell if it's supposed to be actual nighttime or if you just woke up like the next day. The same as it was.
Time is an illusion.
Time is man-made's contract. You look, and a lot of the beds in here have seemingly been a little more occupied. And the soldiers seem to be kind of switching out in shifts of going out to defend the sanctuary or the town, and then coming back to rest and swap out with another well-rested soldier. Asif and Morzok are already awake and standing, getting their gear together. And Bastion seems to be just waking up, stretching himself out, getting ready to go wherever you go.
Is everybody awake?
I mean, they are now. You three are I think Elrana would be the last one to kind of, because she stayed up a little longer, she would be the last one to kind of roll out of bed. No need for a bedhead because her hair just perpetually kind of floats. So if anything, she just kind of like runs her fingers through it to push it behind her and calls it a day.
Fucking tally fucking ho then. Probably gonna be working overtime today.
Alright, so you head back out and you come out to the main area and you can see that Vord is no longer there. There are still soldiers that are seemingly like wandering through different places. Some of them are kind of seemingly like irritatingly getting ready to go back outside, and some of them are kind of rushing to get through to wherever it is they need to go. And you can see Lady Kima is kind of propped up against a wall, the sword kind of like laying against one shoulder, as she kind of like sits there, her knees propped up and has her head laid back with her eyes closed, seemingly trying to rest but be ready wherever she needs to be. But yeah, you come out there and no Vord present at the moment.
Did we get set up to go? Do I need to find him?
Do you want to ask somebody? Do you want to go find him? From where you are, you do know the layout of this place. Where you're at currently, you do know that there is what is like the actual sanctuary part where people usually go to pray to the Platinum Dragon in the what would be like the room off to what is now your left, what would have been your right, of what is like the main foyer. I mean, possibility he could be there, but
There's a bunch of soldiers running around. Give me one of them.
all right, you are
Kima sitting right there.
Preferably not her, because she's sleeping, and she's worth a fuck.
Fair enough. All right, so as you're standing there, you kind of look around, waiting for someone to get close enough for you to grab the attention of, and
I just imagine Garb just looking around, and then just random people keep walking by, and one just comes just within arm ranks, and he just...
that's exactly what
Just fucking.
Yeah.
No Ymir.
You end up seeing this small human girl that has her hair pulled up in a very roughshod ponytail and is in cleric's garb. Spectacles that are sitting against her face that seem to be a little too big for her, so they keep sliding down her nose, and she keeps having to pull them back up.
You didn't have to put me in the D&D campaign, Jesus.
I said small, like she is.
That's fair. I'm not sure.
And like she walks by just within your arm's reach, and you're just like, and grab her by her arm for her to spin around. And she seems to be carrying like a couple of scrolls kind of close to the chest, and you flip her around, and they almost fall out, and she's like fumbling to put them back, and she's like, "Yes."
Yeah, where's the boss at?
The High Bearer, the High Bearer, he, last I saw him, I think he went into the sanctuary. I don't know if he's come out. I've been really busy. If he's not there, then you could probably find his office, and, she points down another hall where, you know, is, because you've been there a couple times, especially in your youth. The High Bearer Vord's office, where he has his nice little desk and chairs and usually sits down and conducts business. But if he's not in the sanctuary, he's probably in his office. I'm not sure. I've been busy. And then, hey, do you need anything else?
No, thank you. Carry on.
And then she just like rushes off, like the White Rabbit from Alice in Wonderland.
You've got a kitty cat.
I know. Oh, it's not Ember this time. It's been Ember for like 2 days.
Yeah. My Huggy fell down on the floor, and Ember's been going back there to sit next to the Christmas lights.
It's Ash this time.
Hmm.
Or Ash was facing in towards the tree with butt out and flipped around.
Yeah.
Tucked the face under.
Yep.
When we used to have a tree skirt like years ago, the cats would hide underneath of the tree because the lights and everything would make them
I
warm.
don't think we can get a tree.
We've only had to shoot Blaze off of it a few times.
Atra climbs doorways, so.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Blaze does climb doorways. He'll climb that.
Atra climbs
Specific.
everything.
Washer.
Blaze ends up on
dryer.
top of the fucking refrigerator.
I put
She
tape
can
up
do that.
there because she was jumping up there, so I put the tape up and like wrapped it around so it was sticky side up.
Oh.
And she stopped after that.
Ooh.
She's figured out how to open her
That's
cabinets.
fair point.
Yeah, she can get in the cabinet.
You're gonna have to baby lock shit.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, where's the baby? We don't have one. We have cats.
I'm gonna suplex the cat.
We have.
eventually.
He get in
It's
the
not gonna go
drawers or the wardrobe. He'll get in those. So we had to get the baby locks that for drawers where you have to push the thing down.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you've been given instruction. You can either go into the sanctuary or his office.
Office first, because it's probably just poke your head in.
Okay. You head toward the office and open up the door. You can see the on the floor is a deep blue and silver rug that shows the visage of the Platinum Dragon. Actually, it'd be because of the stonework. It'd be less of a rug and more like a tapestry that he might have hung up. But you can see two very kind of like large chairs that are sitting in front of a very big dark wood desk that has a high back chair sitting behind it. that seems to be nicely done up, but no Vord.
Okay, sanctuary then.
Heading back across, you open up the sanctuary doors to a large room that is lined with pews all the way up. There is a large stained glass visage on one edge of the room where prayer is usually done that has the profile and visage of the Platinum Dragon. And though you're sitting on a side that would not have, or because there is no sun outside because of the darkened sky, there would be no light to come through. But as you walk in, you look at the floor, and you actually see on the floor is a, not the reflection. You see the visage of that is the same stained glass on the wall, but on the floor, like almost like there is light shining through, but there is no sun outside.
Okay.
But you can see kind of sitting on one of the very front row pews. There are a few people in here that are not Vord that are kind of seemingly have their head down in prayer and are trying to pray for safety or whatnot. But at the very front pew is a the back of the head of Hybrid Vord that is seemingly in a kind of like exhausted slouch almost.
Where is he at?
In like the front pew.
Secretary?
Yeah. As you walk through, you approach, and he immediately straightens up and I see you have well rested for the night. If you would like to come with me, I can show you to where we keep our wyverns to be able to send you up. I've had them already outfitted, so you just need to decide who is sitting on what, and we will send you on your way. He leads you down the same hall where his office was, but takes a turn and leads you deeper within the sanctuary, and you're led into what is not quite, it's almost like a horse stable, but very much larger, and is on one of the far ends of the sanctuary. And you can hear the soft, like almost purring growl of what is the wyverns that are currently held up inside part of the stable.
Before I head that way, I go and check on dude.
Oh, okay. Alright, you poke your head back into the room where what is basically the infirmary right now. And you can see in that first bed is the half-elf man that you had saved. The healed flesh is a little less pink. He's still shirtless. But seems to they seem to have pulled the covers up on him a little bit. He's still unconscious. But you can see the chest rising and falling, and he seems to be doing
How many items do you have attend?
a little bit better.
Can I check him and make sure that he's like okay?
How would you like to check if he's okay?
Like all of his wounds and stuff. Like nothing seemed like it's gotten infected or anything.
Oh, okay.
All that good stuff.
You kind of like, you have to kind of move the covers aside, and a cleric passes by and kind of gives you an eye of like, and then sees that you're kind of in more of an inspecting view rather than like a ooh, and walks off.
Yes,
you-
I'm totally gonna get my jellies off to
Wounded
beaten men.
People are weird.
It's true what
But
they
you-
say about half elves.
But you see, the flesh is a little less pink. Nothing seems to be infected. That seemed to be the majority of his wounds was along the abdomen that you had healed. But as you kind of like try to reposition the covers to turn around and head off, like the disturbance seems to agitate, or I'm not sure the right word. When you try to put the covers back, he ends up turning over.
Okay.
Instead of laying on his back. So, I mean, seems to be in fit enough to move.
Okay.
You do hear a little bit of groan of like straining, but other than that, seems to be okay. And is now in more of a like sleeping type of state rather than just straight up unconscious.
Before I forget,
Sure.
I wrote it down last time we played.
Okay.
So, and I didn't think about it till now. When we were resting, he needed to attune to the ring that holds the slots.
Oh,
For what spell?
Shield.
That's right.
okay. Garm or Morzog? Okay. So Garm is attuning to the spell storing ring now?
Yes, I think like, yeah. That's why I asked how many he had, because it's something Will told me last time, but that was a while ago, so I forgot, but I wrote it down, and I was trying to remember what it meant.
Okay. So you now are, as long as you can, you now have a ring of spell storing that has a first level shield spell.
Is that the one that holds 3 spell slots?
Yeah, I think so. It can hold up till level 3, so...
Right, so 3 spell slots.
Well, I would look at the thing because there's a difference between having 3 spell slots and holding up to a level 3 spell.
Is it in his inventory? Ring of spell storing. This ring stores spells cast into it. The ring can store up to 5 levels worth of spells at a time. When found, it contains 1d6.
Even better.
Oh, that's
The one that I gave him can only hold up to 3.
Oh, okay.
So then up to 5 level spells?
And it says it contains 1d6, 1 levels... Wait, 1d6 minus 1 levels of stored spells chosen by the GM.
So it was level 3.
It was 3,
So
yeah.
3. So 3 level 1s, 1 level 2, 1 level 1, or a level 3.
Well, the question is would Morzog give 3 shields away?
We're gonna do a long rest.
Oh, that's...
Yeah.
It would have been before he went to sleep, so
Yeah. I just forgot.
Okay. Alright, so
Sorry
you
about
have
that.
a ring of spell storing that has 3 shields in it.
I'm gonna erase that from my... Surprised it was still on the board after...
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just for reference, shield is a reaction spell that adds +5 to your AC. And also completely nullifies magic missile.
Mm-hmm. Until the start of my next turn, yeah.
No, it is for the combat round.
For the combat round?
Yeah, so like if whatever you are fighting has multi-attack and you cast shield, that shield will stay up until that person is done smacking you.
I thought it stayed up until your next round. The beginning of your next turn.
Aw, look.
That's what I just said, yeah. That's what I thought.
Shield.
Because that's how it's always seen.
Until start of your next turn.
Okay.
Ooh.
Which sucks if you use it right before your turn starts, but...
Hey, sometimes, blocking 30 to hit is pretty nice. Alright. So, back to the present. You are led into these large stables where two, basically stable boys are finishing strapping up the reins to these two large, dark-scaled wyverns that now have a variety of straps and belts strewn across their body, as well as a saddle that has, like, right where the legs would be, like the stirrups, there are these, like, leg harnesses that look like they would fasten around what would be your calf and thigh to keep the rider in during certain maneuvers. Other than the wyverns that you guys had fought, you kind of recognize the saddles from, which that was a while back, but you kind of recognize the saddles from those guys that you had fought back in Draconia, who were looting the remains. These seem pretty similar, if not a little more well done than those ones. But you go ahead and how are you splitting it up again? Because Asif can fly, so
He's carrying the dog.
Asif and the dog. Note Morzog, me and Arama. Distributes the weight the most even.
okay. Say that again for reference. Sorry.
Asif and Bastion.
Yeah.
Note and Morzog.
Okay.
Garmin and Arama.
Okay.
It's the best way to do the weight.
Yeah. So, the stable boys kind of show who's going to be...
Which one of us is riding?
Yeah, I was going to say, who's going to be the main rider here?
Hey, well, that's fine.
I don't know. What's your animal handling?
A lot.
Because it's probably better than mine.
I'm a druid, dear.
Yeah, mine's awful. That stone took away all my negative ones.
+5.
I got no problem being the bitch.
Alright, so Elrana and Morzog climb onto the wyverns.
I'll be in front because I have better animal
No.
handling too.
Oh,
I
okay
have
then.
+3. So
Fucking wisdom stat.
that
Garbage.
he can.
Making Morzog right, bitch. Against
mean-
a fucking Kenku. This is great.
I mean, he could. Have the animal. I'm probably small enough.
That's
I could
true.
sit in front of him anyway.
It'd probably be more like an adult with a child in front of them while we're... Yeah. But, you know.
I mean, if he hunches enough, it's probably harder to see Note, so it kind of looks like
At least
Morzog is
3/4
actually...
covers.
Yeah. Kind of looks like Morzog is actually the one riding.
It's just this yellow thing in front of him somewhere.
Alright, so no
I don't know,
Elrana.
you got a lot of black cloak on you, man.
But I
With-
have my hat, so I can make it look like whatever
that's
I
true.
want.
With the assistance of the stable boys, you're able to climb atop the wyverns, and they show you how all of the straps go on the legs. You have one strap that goes across your thighs that keeps you planted to the saddle, and then another along your calves, and then your feet fit into these large loops that cover the front of your shoes and boots. Note, you have the two straps. Barely. Morzog and Garm climb up behind you, and there are... the back of the saddle has room to fit a second person, and you have like these little handles that are on the back to be able to hold on to, and there's also a tether that you basically affix to yourself like a belt, so that you don't fall off. Or if you do, you stay attached to the saddle, and you have the opportunity to try to climb back up. A large door at the end of the stable opens, and you can see the outside. A few Gloomstalkers seem to kind of fly by, and all of you kind of stay for a second because you're like wondering if it's going to come back. Never does. The large mass of the wyvern is now like they're technically of the dragon family, but they don't have the same visage of dragons, which in most none of you have encountered dragons yet.
Yes, I have.
I probably read about them.
You have. Yes, you have. Yeah, and you two would have known from books. Morzog would have seen one. Asif would not have. So Morzog and Elrana know what a dragon looks like. But instead of seeing the like 4 legs on bottom with the wings on the back, these are...
I actually have the most experience riding dragons.
Yeah. For wyverns, their front legs are their wings. They just kind of fold, and they basically walk on the clawed tip of the bend of the wings. You can feel the shoulders and legs rolling as it lumbers its way against the stonework up to the large double doors that have now opened. And Vord looks at all of you and goes, "I wish you the best of luck, and if you can make it down, hope to see you then."
For those listening, think Skyrim dragons.
Yeah, exactly. Like Alduin and all that. Yeah, that's... Yep. Yep.
Oh.
Which, I mean, dragons have taken different visages and different lores and such, so... I mean, fuck, you know, the dragons in Star Wars are large worms, so... as you're led kind of to the double doors, go ahead and make a animal handling check.
Okay.
Baby, do you want to come roll a d20 real quick?
22.
22?
Yeah, I rolled a 19 now, plus 3.
Nice. So, as you're led up,
15.
You get... Okay.
Can I have advantage because I'm technically have ridden one before?
I mean, no, but... Is that a 15 total?
Yeah.
Like with dice roll and everything?
Yeah.
Nice. So as you're led up there, you you snap the reins and give out a call, and the wyvern basically hooks its front legs into the part of the stonework and push themselves. And as you can feel, like there being no air under you, it flings out its wings and gives a couple of big flaps before it sets you up in the air. And you look back to the other wyvern as it basically does the same thing. It gives itself a long push and then flings out its wings, and you kind of, both of you tug the reins to kind of like loop its head up toward the Titan itself. As you are now basically looking at a top-down view of the city, you can see the structure of it. The Platinum Sanctuary that sits at the highest point, and then the city kind of makes sections ringed or like semicircular as it makes its way down the mountain. You see the Platinum Sanctuary in the middle. Far off in the part of the city where you guys had first come in is a large obsidian tower. And then on the complete other side of that is just this enormously large tree. You can see definitely like separation between like each part of the city and who they would belong to or what they would do. besides Garm, like, none of you would actually know, each one, but you can definitely see, like, you see the large obsidian tower that with not a lot of flora and fauna, so mostly, like, grays and browns throughout that section. But then on the vast other end is that large tree with greenery all over and trees growing. You see fields of crops and so on. You see the section, what Garm would know as the Braving Grounds, as there's a large statue of a man in armor. And then the center of the city where there seems to be the most commerce. You do see a large temple-like structure somewhere in there. And then the Platinum Sanctuary that you guys had come from. Taking up what would be like the highest most point. As you are now very much above open air and traversing yourself up the miles high Titan, you go ahead and make perception checks. I'll say with disadvantage because of the
I need to roll
the sound going on around you. Go ahead and roll yours first, and then
Can we just say we roll straight so we have advantage and can't set the disadvantage?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
So Note and Elrana can have just straight rolls because...
Well, my first roll was a 10.
Because you guys are doubling up, so...
Okay.
Mm-hmm. 18.
16.
16.
I rolled a 16. What is Morzon's?
Oh, you didn't take advantage?
No, I took disadvantage, which my first roll was my lower one, which would be a straight roll. So either way, if I took disadvantage or a straight roll, it would be 16.
Okay. As you are...
Morzog did much better, but...
starting your uphill climb toward the Titan, you like most of what you're the reason you guys had disadvantage is because as you're climbing, the wind is like blowing into your ears and making it hard to hear anything between all of the wind and the flapping of the wings. And you a lot of you rolled really decent. So as you kind of are trying to perceive what's going on around you to make sure you're not being followed, you can kind of see coming out of one of the little curved edges of the Titan is a couple of Gloomstalkers that seem to have taken notice of you. And you can see their shadowy form and hear the loud screech that they let out as they have now found, presumably, a target. They would be quite a ways away from you. So the question, I guess, becomes, would you like to try to fight, or would you like to try to run?
We need to get up to head dick bag, so preferably not have an encounter, but if we gotta, we gotta.
Not have an encounter in the air.
Yeah, because the catch one.
Especially because half of you don't have any ranged things.
I mean, I do. It's just, yeah. It's not great.
Or would much rather be used on later.
So we're going to put our spurs in and make him go faster? ASIP, flop harder.
How far away?
At the current moment, current one probably like 100, 120 feet.
And are they coming right at us? Or are they trying to cut us off?
No, they're coming straight for you.
Oh, they're coming straight for us? Fuck it. Let's go really fast.
Which...
Double time.
On delay.
I'm just gonna run and do this.
There's a shit ton of them. They're just dumb as shit.
Could cast invisibility. I could only do it on...
How the fuck does the alphabet go? There we go.
Same way it always happens.
Oh shit. Wyverns have an 80 foot flying speed.
Boss.
Fast as fuck, boy.
Our
wyvern's a little faster too.
They have the ability to bite, claw, and sting. Because the end of their tail has like a large stinger that...
In the interest of being honest, Asif's flying speed is not that much.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but they're dumb. They're gonna come with us.
So you would have had to, if you wanted to stay together, you would have to actually slow down the wyverns to have Asif keep up with you. I think he has a 40 flying speed.
That's normally what it is.
Okay, so he's having to double dash for you guys, for the wyvern to just run at normal pace. And Gloomstalkers also have an 80-foot fly.
So my point is that if they're flying straight at us and not trying to cut us off and our movement speed's the same, they're gonna miss.
If you, which they are double dashing, here's the thing. You are having to go at normal 80-foot flying speed to stay with Asif, because Asif has to double dash to keep up. The Gloomstalkers are double dashing, so they are technically moving 160 around. You are moving half of that.
Carrying?
Yes.
So I can cast invisibility on Asif. It covers anything the target is wearing or carrying as long as it's on the target's person. Would that count? Would Bastion count as...
Bastion is a separate entity. You would have to have invisibility twice.
I don't know if I can only do... I think I can only do... No, I have 2 second level slots.
That's burning your second level spells before we even encounter Dickbag.
Yeah, but I've only got invisibility and Shadow Blade. My regular blade is better against them than... because of radiant damage.
Also, invisibility is a concentration spell. You cannot... unless you... I think there's a... Isn't there a thing where you can target more things at higher levels?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you were to bump it...
third or higher. But
you don't have a third level slot?
Mm-mm.
Hi, Amber.
This is my first time getting a second level, so...
Okay. I forgot pseudocasters.
Yeah.
Fucking...
Pseudocasters.
Besides Kayla, like, most of you are actually all pseudocasters.
Even then, I don't usually.
Does Asif have anything?
I'm looking. He finally sent his thing.
Because none of you know this yet, but Asif is part warlock. So he has spell slots.
Nothing useful. And I was looking at Warlock like all day the other day.
Warlock is a I was talking to Skylar about this. Warlocks are kind of niche classes because like they have a weird way of casting spells because everything they cast has to start at its highest level.
Mm-hmm. I was looking at the it's like, yeah, everything you cast at the highest level, you get like 2. Have fun.
Yeah, they get spell slots faster, but they burn through them quicker.
Can you
No,
cast
get back on
spells when you're raging?
His shit is trash.
Can you cast spells while raging?
No.
No?
Raging takes away your ability to comprehend arcane.
Oh, darn. Because it'd be like, fuck you, fireball.
Warlocks get their spells back on a short rest, too.
Nope. He has trash.
Okay. I don't know what spell slots or what spells he took, so
I could always cast invisibility on him and hope they don't notice the dog that's just
is floating
yeah
in kind of a cradled
The
position,
small-
going.
the small creature versus the big old wyverns with people on them that look yummy. Oh.
Well, if you
How far are we from something that we can land on?
The side of the Titan has multiple places in it where there seems to be like either breaks or porous openings. You could try to find one that might fit your wyverns in to maybe try to get away from the...
How far are we from the top, though?
Oh, you've got a bit. Like, the Titan is miles high.
Okay, but he also fell down. So it's not
On-
like he's standing.
I mean, that's true, but you still got a ways to go. So you can try to find a big enough break in it. You could split up and like have Asif go on his own because he is smaller, and you guys just fly the fuck away.
How many are there?
Currently 2.
One of us could bull rush him and draw the heat.
Make more sense to be you and me.
Fuck, if I hit one, I'd probably kill it.
It's dark out, right?
Yep.
Are they likely to see if Bastion was the only thing they saw, because he's black brown, would they be likely to see him?
I don't know what their vision is. We wouldn't know. Would be the fairest way to play that. The only person that would possibly know would be him, and that's even still pushing it, because it would be... Did you dissect them afterwards to see what their anatomy is like? Because that would be how you'd have to find out.
Yeah, I look at them, they look at me, they died, I didn't.
Yeah.
That's about as far as the conversation ever got.
Probably our best bet at this point would be you and me try and rush them, get them to where they can at least get somewhere safe, and then draw them there if we haven't killed them by then. Because you have a boner for them, and I have ranged things.
Massive hate boner for these things.
Okay, so Elrana and Garm are going to...
Oh, by the way, retcon something real quick before we actually get into shit. The night before, we took Jethro's bracelet of holding off of him before he left and gave it to Asif.
Bracelet communication.
Jethro has not been with you for some time.
Mm-hmm. Before he left, we took it from him. I paid for the bitches.
Sure. Okay, so...
Hey, me and Garm are gonna try and draw their attention. You guys rush as far as you can.
Okay.
Alright, so Elrana and Garm's wyvern turns around and starts to head toward the 2 Gloomstalkers. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and have all of you are gonna roll initiative. Note you're going to be because you're the ones that are running away, unless there is a altercation in which you flip around as well. I'm just going to have you and Morzog basically just be together.
Okay.
And then Asif will also go on your turn too because he's running away too.
Straight roll.
Yeah. So you two are going to.
Yeah, 20.
Nice.
Nice.
Can I change initiatives with her? Tradesies?
Did you get cleric initiative again? Oh no. Uh-oh.
I mean, at least it's on the not important things, right?
I didn't do too bad.
Where is the clothespins?
Behind you. On
In
top
the
of the things.
In the place where they're supposed to be, Andrew. Why are my maps here?
Because I stole them in order to be able to make the map.
How dare you?
There's also some to the right of that. Because we have 4 of them.
This is all I need. Okay. So going to go ahead and do
Excuse me.
these
The
two.
cat took off.
Holy shit.
Which one?
Amber.
What's your... You have a +5 dex. So you are... Oh, there you go. So Note is technically going first. One of them rolled a natural 20. So, alright, so 25 to 20, 20,
More's me.
20 to 15.
16.
Ooh, nice. Good job, Gar.
Would Morzog also be on my nat 20? Or does he...
Yes.
Yeah.
He's,
Morzog and Asif are just going to go with you.
Yeah.
Just to make
Morzog, Asif, your Wyvern are all just going to go at the same time.
Okay.
Because you are the running away party.
Okay.
Go ahead and one of you, either Ilrana or Garm, roll initiative for a Wyvern. Just a d20 and no dex modifier.
Can I switch with the Wyvern?
Alright. Garm, you rolled a
16.
16, you said? That's a 13.
Okay, well, the Wyvern goes next after Garm.
Okay. Then,
Wyvern got a 16 as well.
okay. So, NPC is your Wyvern. And then I take it, what did you get, Ilrana?
A 3.
Oh boy.
You're too busy flying the wyvern.
Yeah.
Too busy.
Occupied with other things, right?
You're too busy mimicking all the clerics you ran past.
We're in Vasselheim. Gotta mimic them cleric initiatives.
Alright.
I'm the closest thing this party has to a cleric. Might as well.
Okay. I'm not, because of how this is gonna go and you're dealing with vertical and horizontal shit, we're gonna try and do Theater of the Mind. And,
It's probably a good idea.
and I don't have any Wyvern minis.
Have
So,
dragon minis.
that's
They're
fair.
technically too small to be technical dragons, which is...
They can be babies.
We have a griffin mini that would have worked.
Well, because they got me dragon minis that were not ancient dragons.
So, Note and the running away party. I want you to make perception checks. Make one for yourself at advantage, or make 2 with you and Morzog.
I make one an advantage. First roll 16. Second one's a 3, so 16. Plus my perception plus 6 would be 22.
Okay, 22. You can see kind of... Let's see. Are you... Okay, so the question is, are you wanting to double dash your 160 as the Wyvern, or are you trying to stay with Asif?
Try and stay with Asif.
Okay, because he has to double dash to keep up with you.
Yeah.
So...
Because he
What?
has the dog.
What is 8 times 3?
24.
Thank you. Okay, so you kind of see off in the farther up ahead of the body of the Titan, there seems to be
Oh,
like...
his flying speed is 60 feet. I apologize.
Okay. So he's closer than you think, but you still have to slow down to keep up. So you see up farther ahead in the like grays, blacks, browns of that make up the coloration of the Titan that there is a slight like just discoloration in a section of it, kind of up ahead. You're unsure what that means, but you're taking that as that seems to be a point in which you could probably at least investigate to see if it's big enough, or if it's a hole, or if it's just a discoloration. You got to keep going. Hard to tell how far it is away, but we'll
find out.
Yep. Okay. You guys have turned around. It is double dashing up to you guys. It is now, you're coming up, you're probably about 20 feet away, now. Since one of them has, they're both double dashing, but one of them is now a little closer to you. So Garm, it is your turn because it had to double dash to get to you.
How far away are we?
One of them is about 20 feet away.
He's cock up a guiding bolt.
Alright, go ahead and roll an attack against the Gloomstalker.
Absolutely not.
No? What'd you get?
9.
9? You, see it approaching for like a side swipe, and you charge up the energy within your hand and go to chuck it off, and it arcs, guiding bolt kind of arcs like a lightning bolt almost, but in a kind of like radiant, golden glow or white glow, and you chuck it off, and it streaks across the sky and seems to be on the mark, but like at the last second it tucks in its wings and barrel rolls past it and sets itself right to come up to you. Your wyvern is going to you can either have it do a it is going to do a claw and a sting, we'll say. So its claw hits. Roll 2d8 plus 4.
Jesus Christ. 6.
6? Okay. And then, so as this Gloomstalker is coming in for like a side swipe, the wyvern kind of adjusts one of its wings to the point of being able to rake one of its claws along the side of the Gloomstalker. And as it's fully passing by, it's going to take a swing with its stinger, which also hits. Roll 2d6 plus 4.
11.
Nice. Alright, and then it needs to make a Constitution saving throw, which it just passes. One of you, I don't care which one of you, roll 7d6. It's going to take half damage of poison.
Can I borrow a D6?
Yeah, wyvern stingers are nothing to fuck with. Poison fucking hurts.
25.
Oof.
Thank you, sir.
So as the slash comes across the Gloomstalker, you hear a shriek in pain before, at the last second, your wyvern turns and the tail just kind of and sticks it with the stinger end. And as the stinger pulls out, you can see the spray of kind of like a greenish fluid of the poison that seems to...
I'd be surprised the things I find in her.
have been discharged into the Gloomstalker. Which, that's a total of 36.
And just like that, he's already dead. Well, if your guiding bolt had hit, then it would. But
Would have exploded.
barely missed.
It's still hanging on pretty good. The other one is going to double dash up to you. But because it double dash is not able to attack. So Ilrana, it is your turn. The second Gloomstalker is now within range of you, and the first one has passed by you and is within like the wyvern's melee distance. And you're just kind of your wyvern has kind of banked and is starting to circle around the one that it took a swing at.
The one that we've already, beat the shit out of.
Sure.
And it's gonna produce flame.
Okay.
Ah. Never mind.
Good roll.
Natural one.
Oof.
The first one was cocked between a 10 and a 17.
Oof.
Yeah, I know that feel.
You conjure the little, like, fireball in your hand and huck it, and it seems to kind of streak off right past it. Okay, back to note. You, are a little closer now, and you can kind of make out what, and that's going your, not double dashing to stay with him, but, going your full distance. You can kind of see now the discoloration you see is kind of like a break in the side of what would be like the abdomen or area or something.
Gonna bracelet it to the team.
Okay. So you let the rest of the party know that there is a break in the side, or however you want to word it. If you wanted to word it specifically, but you'll probably make it on your next round. You'll be approaching it, and it'll be a matter of trying to land.
And we're not gonna go rush into the hole because we need to make sure there isn't anything waiting for us in the hole.
Alright. Anything else you want to... You technically haven't used your action or anything. So I guess, like, if you wanted to prepare for anything or something, I'm not sure. Like if there's a spell you wanted to cast, or...
Note doesn't. I don't know if there's anything that they prepare.
I don't think so.
Probably not.
Asif has nothing more solid with it.
Yeah, because Morzog's spells have to be defensive or offensive, so...
Yeah.
I didn't know if they had anything preparation. Alright, so we'll head back to the Gloomstalkers real quick. The one that you guys have been beating up is going to let out a large shriek. I need Ilrana, Garm, and the Wyvern, which I'll roll for the Wyvern, to make Constitution saving throws.
I'm rolling trash. I'm pretty sure I failed.
Oh yeah, big failage.
Yep.
I was rolling real good at the start there. Now it's just dog shit all over the place.
So if the Wyvern fails, do you all go down?
Probably.
Too bad we didn't pack parachutes.
Okay. So what did you two roll?
You want to go first?
11.
Add 2 to it. There you go.
Yeah.
Nah, I rolled a 1.
Wait, you add 2 to her thing?
Yeah.
Okay, you pass. You fail.
Yeah. So technically I got a 10, but
How did you...
I rolled a 1, but with my modifiers it's like a 10.
Okay. I mean, regardless, that's still a fail.
Yeah.
Whether it's a natural 1 or whether it's a 10, it's a fail. The Wyvern rolled a 10.
The Wyvern can get +2. Why not? It's an
That
ally
puts
that...
it at 12, which still just fails. So, Garm and the Wyvern are now paralyzed until the enemy's next turn. So, as you are trying to bank to turn around to basically get yourself, or as the Wyvern is banking to turn around to get itself within, a striking position with the Gloomstalker lets out this loud, ear-piercing shriek, which you're familiar with from your fights earlier on the ground. You feel... Ilrana, you resist the tightening of your muscles, but you feel Garm behind you go rigid, and then you feel the Wyvern underneath of you go rigid. And you have about a few seconds of floating time before you start to plummet. Granted, you're miles above the surface.
Okay.
But you are now falling. Garm, you are paralyzed. The Wyvern is also paralyzed. It goes to the second Wyvern's turn, or the second Gloomstalker's turn, who is going to try and attack your Wyvern, which is, let me see, creatures are incapacitated. You automatically fail all strength and dex saving throws. Attacks versus you have disadvantage, and anything that hits within 5 feet of you is a critical. So that hits.
Who?
The Wyvern.
Oh.
It's attacking the Wyvern you guys are riding on. Yeah, so, and because you're paralyzed, it is auto crit. So, there we go. Yep. Oh boy. So whoever wants to keep track, your Wyvern has 110 points of damage. It has 110 health points. It just took 32 points of damage.
Okay.
And then
They're good, it's fine.
an extra 14 of necrotic. Is it resistant to anything? No, it is not. And then it's going to hit with the claw, which is fuck. 24, 30. And 8 necrotic.
Okay.
How you doing?
Fine.
Okay. That's the end of its turn. So, Rana, it is your turn.
I cast Lesser Restoration on the wyvern.
Okay. Which ends its paralysis.
So we're no longer plummeting.
So just no, that's fine. Alright, so as you you probably have plummeted maybe, I'll say like 15 feet. You saw one of the Gloomstalkers fly up towards you and kind of tear into your wyvern, who can't do anything about it. You cast your Lesser Restoration. You can feel the rigidness fade, and the wyvern kind of has to adjust and start beating its wings again to readjust itself. But you are back in business. Nope.
Well, as far as I know, I don't know any of this has happened, so what's the hole look like?
As you're flying towards, you see that the hole is looks. Make a perception check.
Just me?
Yes. You can do it at advantage if you wanted to.
Yes, please. One was a 4, one was a 5.
Woohoo.
Perception is so 9.
The hole looks like it would, maybe fit the wyvern. You're unsure of how big the inside of this thing is, but from what you're seeing right now, you probably fit it.
How close are we to the hole now?
I'd say within 60 feet of it. Just kind of hovering. Asif is able to slip right inside. After you kind of are looking at it, he sees it and ends up flying in and landing.
I'll ask Asif how big the hole is. Like, because he can see, if he's inside, he can see how deep it is. Like, if it's just a little divot in the wall, or if it actually is a cave kind of thing.
Or actually, you have Asif stuff, so I don't know why I'm rolling. I just want to roll dice, okay?
Roll for effect and make shit up.
Yeah, right?
Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons.
A 12. As he flies in and kind of looks around, you can see him from where you are, kind of.
Bastion?
You can see kind of from where you are hovering. He lands and kind of like sets the dog down. The dog kind of shakes himself a little bit and is also looking around and sniffing and stuff. And Asif looks around, kind of gauges how big the hole is, and you see him look around and look down a part of the way you can't see, and you can see him put the bracelet up to his beak, and he goes, "It looks like you can probably fit a wyvern in here, but there is no way it's coming anywhere more. Like, it'll probably land, but that's about it."
It's not a big hole.
But from what he said, you could probably land the wyvern and at least get off of it, but as far as trying to take the wyvern farther in, no way.
No. Will it fit 2?
Are you asking him that?
Yeah.
No, not at the same time.
No, I can belly crawl. It'll be fine. I'll talk to him. It'll be alright.
Are there any paths going off of the cave, or is it just a hole on the side?
Well, we'll get back to that.
Okay.
So
Maybe we should have stayed with you guys and fought.
it does not get its screech back. So now that the other Gloomstalker is going to come down and try to attack you, Lorana.
Oh, I was looking at more like my perception was
You did not.
11.
You did not get paralyzed, so it does not have advantage. Son of a bitch.
It's also its turn. It's
14.
Nope.
Okay.
Not anymore.
And 28.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
It went to bite at you, and it went to the long neck reached towards you, and you kind of dodged out of the way, and it pulled back after kind of just snapping at air, and you see one of the talon-like claws come up and take a rake at you, and it's gonna be 17 slashing damage.
Okay.
And then 11 necrotic. Right? Yes.
I hate that.
Okay. So that is its turn. It is back to Garm. You're no longer paralyzed. Oh shit. That was the... Wait, did I skip you, Arana?
Yes. That's why I said,
You lesser restoration
Yeah,
the
you
wyvern.
lesser restoration. The wyvern. And we went back up to note.
Oh, you went to... I understand. Never mind.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I
my
did
bad.
this one. So it's back to Garm, and since the Gloomstalker's turn is over, you're no longer paralyzed. So you gain back... Your body is now really sore from being super rigid for a full 6 to 10 seconds. And you come back and you're like, ow! But you have control of your body again.
Yeah, swing.
Okay. You're using your sword?
Using my halberd.
Oh! Okay.
I kept it.
Yeah, you did. And it's got some length on it.
Yeah, I figured it was better here.
It's not magical though.
It's a +1 halberd.
Is it?
So it is magical.
Oh, son of a bitch. Okay, never mind.
I believe.
Yeah, because you came in later. That's right.
I came in later, so you started me with a +1 halberd.
Yep. Forgot. So yeah, you have a +1 halberd. He's magical. It's got the profile of Bahamut on the side of the axe blade.
Fucking Christ. 12.
12 does not hit.
Yeah, we're going again.
Okay, go on again. Go again. Okay, got it.
No.
No?
It was worse.
Oof.
I can't fucking hit anything today.
Yeah, we're doing kind of trash right now, and it's not good since we're by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So from the back of the wyvern, you take big swings and arcs with your halberd, but it's just being a dodgy fucker.
And then I play roll, and it's like there's like a 13 and there's a 15. I actually roll. Yeah, that was a 9. That actually would have been okay.
All right. Back to the Wyvern's turn. It is going to take swipes at the dickhead that is. It's currently being harried by 2. It's going to take swipes at the one that you have already. That it currently tried to attack its rider beforehand. So we're going to do. We're gonna do a bite this time. We did a claw last time. We're gonna do a bite this time. That is a hit. And 2d6 plus 4.
2d6 plus 4.
Yep.
Give me this one and this one.
Those
Those
are
are
8.
8s. Give me this one and this one. 11.
11 with the plus 4?
Yes.
And then Stinger, because the Stinger is extremely good. That definitely hits. I'm rolling really well for the Wyverns. 2d6 plus 4 again. Okay, so it's that, and it's going to make a Constitution saving throw. That is going to pass 76.
I thought he said 76, like 7-6. I was confused.
Oh,
Plus what?
it's 7d6 plus nothing because
Okay.
it's poison damage.
Shit. 21.
What 21 halved? Say another 11.
10.
Technically 10 and a half, but. Okay. So, actually, so that one is downed. So the one that you guys had started off beating the shit out of, your wyvern takes a bite of it and then flings the stinger into its abdomen, and you see it kind of go rigid for a second, and when the stinger pulls out, you see that gout of greenish liquid before the Gloomstalker starts to plummet, just limp.
Fucking carry me, Wyvern Senpai. Jesus.
I mean, 7d6 of poison damage fucking hurts.
The only thing that has hit this Gloomstalker is this Wyvern. We couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with a missile.
Apparently, not today.
The second Gloomstalker is going to attack you, Garm.
Do they make wyverns in pet size?
Oh, fucking hell.
Baby wyverns?
Okay. 13?
No.
The only thing that would be close is a pseudo dragon.
I was saying reduce.
19.
Shield.
Nice.
The shield charge?
Yeah.
Okay, so you expend one of the
Yeah.
charges. You now have 2 shields left. That puts you at a what armor class?
22.
Nice. Okay.
Because I don't have my shield equipped.
Yeah.
So you see one of the claws come in before that arcane barrier springs from one of your hands and stops it in its tracks. Elrana.
I'll just pretty flame at it. Or not.
Could you be not cocked, please?
It's cocked, so then I have to re-roll it, and it ends up being a 1 every time.
Oof. Maybe swap the dice. Maybe bless the dice.
Sure
Put
thing.
it under a
Or
full
might I?
moon.
Apparently, blessings are required. Nikita Poof. I'm gonna roll a natural 20 next time.
Did you straight up lick the dice? Okay. Note.
Do we see any stairs or any other holes?
Not currently from where you're at.
So our main goal, we're trying to get to the top of the head, right?
Yes.
So since the hole can't fit us, we really just need to go up.
Well, he said you could. He said you could land one of the wyverns inside.
But there's still another wyvern. So worst comes to worst, we might have to land the injured one there. But we still have to go up, and I don't think we're going to be climbing the sheer Titan back.
Well, I mean,
I could.
Well, you said you were going to ask him if there was a way through.
Like if it was like a cave, like went in.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I cut off your question because you would only have so much questions you could ask.
Yeah. And then the other one is if there were any pathways, like did people make footpaths going up the side of the mountain to walk their happy selves up?
So, you ask him if there was like tunnels or anything. He replies back to you of, there seems to be a cave tunnel that goes along part of inside of body. Not for how far or if there or anything about it. There, I went Scottish there for a second. What the fuck? You can, from where you're kind of floating, he's pointing. He goes, there is one that leads farther inside, and there is one that goes up this way, and then one that goes down this way, and he's like pointing.
Place that you were playing.
But he is telling you that there is way for us to walk if you come inside.
How far down are we from the top?
Hard to tell. A long ways.
Long ways.
You look up and it's just...
So yeah, it's probably not worth getting off here. Because we still have a whole nother set of riders and their ride that have to fit somewhere, so I guess we'll go up and I'll relay that to him. They probably can't hear it in the bracelet, so are they...
Or more than 500 feet?
You,
Technically, you only had them dash for another turn, so no.
You went somewhere around, I think I wrote down 200 something. So yeah, they are able to hear this.
Oh, so then they should... Okay, well, I'm gonna let them know we're gonna find a place higher up, because the hole we found won't fit both dragons and... or wyverns and...
Okay.
Okay, so... Asav takes a deep breath and picks up the dog again. And we'll flip back to them for another turn as you guys are starting to... Asav jumps out and starts flying again, and you guys are getting ready to head up farther. Alright, so...
Which one of those died?
The one.
Yeah. That one died.
Hey.
So, we are to Garmageddon.
Yeah, let's just get back on the horse here. Let's just go again.
Alright.
Nope.
I bumped the table, it doesn't count.
Yeah, I was gonna say she did bump the table, so I'll let you re-roll that one.
Nat 20.
Hey!
Okay.
Bump the table more often.
Alright. Needless to say, that hits.
Yeah, we're gonna smite it.
Yes. Smite slots.
Keep your... Tell me your slashing damage.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here. Do your slashing damage first. Don't roll everything all at once.
That's less fun.
I'm sorry. It's for my sake, because my brain doesn't work properly. Roll your slashing damage.
Place.
Poop garbage.
Double the dice. And then add your modifier.
I haven't had anything with my humber in a while.
Can they have these?
7.
7.
Slashing.
That was after doubling the die?
Yes.
Oof.
Rolled a 2.
Oof.
Okay.
I hit it. That's progress.
That's true.
All right, now roll your radiant.
Yeah.
And just roll your radiant from your divine smite.
I just give him one.
What's the base number?
13.
13 base.
13 base.
Okay. What is 13 quadrupled?
Times 4? Times
30, 52.
52.
52.
Okay, because you rolled a natural 20, which would double it as a crit, plus it takes twice as much damage from radiant, so quadrupled.
Has a big old fuck you.
I got sick and tired of missing the barn with the missile.
Holy fuck.
I've got one more out.
All right. So as you finally feel that landing strike, like the halberd usually you have to put some force into it to get it to cut completely through something. That went through it like butter, just woof, and you can see the shadow tear away from it, and that large gash that has like that golden glow. That the golden glow fades, but it took a fucking heavy hit.
You don't like them? That's okay, Ashes.
Okay, that was only your first strike.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Swing again.
Please liked it.
Nope. I rolled a 3.
He does?
Yeah, he wants another.
I have rolled all single digits except for my initiative and that nat 20.
Nice.
You don't need any more.
Okay.
It's okay. The wyvern's gonna carry us again.
I was gonna say it's your wyvern's turn. So
I don't know. I'm pretty sure you just did half damage, so.
He did actually all but 12.
I didn't use a level 2 smite slot. I should have.
That's 14, which doesn't hit, and that's gonna hit.
Can you attack my foot? That'd be great. And then you come over to be cute.
Oh wait, that's different.
He's hoping he gets
Oh,
more.
it's still too low. Okay. All right, Kayla. I need 2d6 plus 4, and that's gonna roll a Constitution saving throw.
A 9.
A 9. Okay, then the poison. You don't even have to roll the poison damage because even if it was halved, it's dead.
Stop and get it.
So the wyvern plants its stinger in it. Same thing as last time. The stinger pulls out. You see the poison kind of dripping from the tail. And I feel like that's a fucking... Like, that should be a... That is so ridiculous. Should be a fucking recharge on that.
Get down.
What?
The stinger pulls out and the next Gloomstalker goes limp. Go ahead and make a perception check while you're out in the middle of open air. You can either assist or make your own.
Assist. Definitely assist.
15.
15? Okay. From where you currently are, you look around and you do not see... you don't see any other Gloomstalkers or anything flying. Your... how much health does your wyvern have?
30.
Fuck. It was just getting ready to do Screech again, too.
Don't matter, you did.
Yeah. Your wyvern is pretty beat up. You can definitely see some heavy wounds, but it's still flying.
Yep, we go back on our merry way.
Alright. As the rest of the group ahead, you kind of look to the side and you can see you can see your friends have taken care of the Gloomstalkers and are now making their way to rejoin up with you. And you guys are able to head farther up the body of the Titan. Go ahead and everybody make another perception check with Elrana and Note doing it at advantage.
In the box. Thank God it needed to be in the box.
What else? 16 plus 6, so 22 again.
Okay.
16.
14.
Nice. So as you're flying up, you have been kind of sticking close to the body of the Titan to be close enough to see if there's any openings, and you get you end up flying for a number of well, because you don't have to go in any tunnels, you'd technically be going farther than so you actually end up going for like a couple, I'll say 2 hours of flight. Before you...
Perception of scale is skewed, sir.
It's... you end up finding a spot that is like a broken open section that seems roughly big enough to probably be able to squeeze your 2 wyverns in, especially now since they're kind of their breathing is labored, they're tired and ready to stop. Whether or not the tunnels inside are big enough, or if there's any tunnels at all, you kind of would have to look around, but you find a spot where you can probably wedge them in.
How close is it to the top?
Much closer. You'd probably only have to, if you wanted to keep flying, it would take you, I don't know, maybe like 10-ish minutes of flight, possibly, because as you get toward the top, there is kind of like a little bit of a flare out toward the shoulders part, and so you'd have to kind of like try to get over the crest of that, and you're not sure what's on the other side.
How much can Aesop carry?
Not a whole lot. What is it you're wanting?
Well, one, as before, I could cast invisibility on him and send him up to scout, so he can go look and see what's over the crest. And if the wyverns are shot for now, and if we don't want to take them up to wherever, so they're a bigger target, he might be able to take people one at a time.
Well, the wyverns are tired. Like, Aesop's tired too. Like, he has been flying on his own and has also been carrying a dog while he's doing it, and he's not that big.
Yeah.
And the dog would technically be considered a large breed. Probably an extra large breed, I think. Because he's like wolf dog or whatever. So, I think he'd be considered extra large. And Aesop's a very tall boy, but there's only so much carrying and flying he can do. But are you going to... are you guys landing your wyverns in here, or are you just disembarking and sending them on their way, or...
That would probably be, we could leave them here, so that way when they're rested, they can fly themselves back. I'm guessing they made it back once without their riders. They can make it back again. Maybe we could put a note on them saying, we made it.
Well, it'd be better if we waited and then had them take us back.
Yeah.
Because us having to go climb all the way back down the Titan.
Well, we can
would fucking
leave
suck.
a note on them and be like, we made it to the Titan, leaving the dragons, leaving the mounts here temporarily. If you gave this note, they left without us. Please come pick us up.
I'll just talk to him.
That works too.
You're gonna cast Speak with Animals?
Yeah.
Speak with Animals specifically say beast? It matters. I know you have a high enough nature score that you would know the difference between a beast and a dragon, but...
With beasts for the duration.
Okay, you would gather looking at the wyverns that these are probably not beasts.
Okay, fine. Then I will just normal talk to them. Wait. Do I speak Draconic?
I know you speak
I
Draconic.
speak Draconic. Do they speak?
Yeah, but you have a shit animal handling score.
It's a 0.
He can talk to me, and then I can repeat it to them.
That's fair.
I can talk to her, and she can repeat it. Sorry, that's really good.
Yeah. Oh.
You could being fucking stupid. I didn't click that button.
Oh. Wyverns do not speak a language.
Okay, fine. Then I will just normal speak to them.
Can Bastion speak to them?
That's fair.
Bastion is magic utility.
Oh, there's the
pepper.
fucking languages. I don't have Draconic. But either way, I'll just speak to them normally.
Okay.
Rest here, we'll be back. Stay
Okay.
hidden. Danger.
Make a animal handling check.
20.
Okay then.
I'm still gonna leave a note.
Just in case. That's alright.
Put in the saddlebag, you know.
You both are able to land your I'll have you make an animal handling check for landing.
Where did we land at?
Are you meaning as far as like position on the Titan kind of thing? You would probably be, because there's really no like neck, you're kind of like right here ish.
Shoulder.
Yeah, like shoulder ish. Right above the shoulder. So like clavicle. We'll say clavicle. 11? Okay. The landing is a little less of like, just kind of like coasting in and then laying down. It's more of like you get them close to it and they latch on with their claws and talons and then just kind of crawl themselves up into it. Because if they were to try to do that, their wings would bump into each other, so they have to close their wing parts and then climb up in. As soon as you guys, unstrap yourself and are able to, and untether yourself and get off of the saddle, Elrana kind of looks back as they kind of turn to you, and Elrana gets the word rest out. And before she can even finish her sentence, both of them kind of like slump down and curl up.
Should we feed them before we go?
Asav lands kind of in the middle of this whole ensemble and puts the dog down. Bastion shakes himself again and kind of like walks around, stretches out because he's been cooped up in a cradling position for a while. And Asav is pretty breathless and is just like, holy shit, we're very high, very tired.
Do you even lift, bro?
Oh, I lift enough. I lift dog for 2 hours.
Morzog makes a sarcastic comment.
Not sure what to say in Morzog's voice. Morzog makes sarcastic comment.
Insert sarcastic comment here.
Exactly. As you look around, there seems to be... this seems to kind of branch off in a couple of different directions. There's only one way that seems to be leading like a tunnel down. Not directly down, but it just kind of does take a slight slope. You have one, and both, you have two tunnels on the other side of you that, as it forks, both of them seem to take a gradual increase up.
Scouting time. So I can scout ahead while Asa takes a nap and
Alright.
everybody gets ready.
Are you just going, or are you just walking, or are you going to try and stealth?
I'm gonna stealth.
Okay, go ahead and roll stealth.
It's been a while. 16, 17. Plus 11. Be 28.
28?
Yep.
Alrighty.
Because that's my specialty.
Alright, so which fork are you taking, left or right?
Right.
Right? Okay. So as you head into the right fork, you how far are you going, I guess is the real question.
I'm gonna try and, because we've got 500 feet on our bracelets, so,
Yeah, so you can go for a ways before you lose communication.
yeah. I'm gonna take it slow, but I'm take it 30 feet at a time, because if need be, I can send something ahead of me or send something back to distract anything that I come across, so.
Okay. So as you head down the right-hand tunnel, it's, for the first, 60 feet or so, it's pretty bare, of just bare tunnel, with a very, very gradual, increase to it before you come to a kind of, junction almost, where there are two doorways on either side, and then more tunnel forward.
I'm gonna look in the right, because I'm keeping my hand towards the right so I don't get lost. Look on the right one.
Okay, you poke your head in the right one, and it looks almost like a maybe a workshop of some sort. Although the tools and tables and stuff inside seem to be supremely old. Parts of the table on the far end of the room have decayed profusely, and it's just kind of broken over. The tools that would have hung up on the hooks on the walls have been scattered across the floor, and are old and rusted. So whatever existed here has been not in use for a very, very long time. You do see kind of over far in one of the corners, though, is a long dead and decayed skeleton of a humanoid person that is just kind of it looks like, judging from how the arrangement was, it looks like he might have been sitting up and on his back in the corner, and due to some kind of tampering with it or movement or something, it has fallen over. The skull lays kind of just a few inches from the rib cage and spine. The rib
so
cage
it's not
is
like an attached skeleton that fell over, but it actually scattered.
yeah.
So I'd be like, if it's an attached skeleton that fell over, I don't want to go anywhere near it because God only knows if it's gonna get up.
No, the bones are kind of seem to have like fallen over and so they're just kind of scattered in places, but you can make out a roughly humanoid person that has been long dead here.
And you said there was a room across the way as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna poke my head in there as well.
Okay. You look in there, and it looks like not necessarily like a workshop type area, but more of like probably like a storage room. There seems to be like wood planks and broken barrels and boxes. It's got a very old and musty smell in here. You kind of take a peek in the different boxes and barrels, and there's nothing really in there. You see like, some insects have made their way in there and have called it home. There's some kind of like fungus growing on something that you're not sure what it is, but it smells really minty, which can only mean that it's been there for a while and is really gross.
Yes. I'll make note of that for while we're on it.
Thanks.
I'll relay it back to. I'm relaying to them what I see as I go because.
Okay.
Whisper, whisper.
Yeah. So all of you are hearing just like descriptions of what she's seeing.
So if there's anything you want, let me know. Or
no skeletons in this one. Just a bunch of broken boxes and barrels. A lot of insects. That one little bit of fungus, but nothing really in here.
I will go a little farther forward before heading back.
Okay. You head up another 30 feet, and there's no rooms or anything. Another 30 feet, and you find okay. Okay. You come upon a large room. Which I guess that's where I'm going to stop the description, because you come upon a large doorway that you can go. You kind of look in and you see that the room is extremely large. So you can either proceed in, or you can wait and head back.
Can I stick my head in?
Sure. You can stick your head in. Go ahead and make a perception check.
18.
Alrighty. From where you're standing, you... what was your score? I'm sorry.
18.
18? Okay. From where you're standing, you see that this room resembles some sort of tomb. As you seem to look around, you seem to look around, and you see kind of in the center of the room is a large, almost sarcophagus that is open. The large stone lid is seemingly kind of tossed aside and propped up along it with a large crack along the edge. it kind of sits in the middle atop a almost like a raised dais that has a small little set of stairs. And as you look around, you see there are corpses kind of everywhere. There's one corpse up by the dais that is holding a large hammer that seems not like he was holding it, but like it's been left there kind of next to him, whoever is up on the dais. And you kind of look around and you see other corpses that are littered across the room. With an 18... Yeah, okay. But you can also tell that these corpses seem to have been damaged. Like, as you, just from where you're standing, you can kind of see that a couple of them have, like, burns across them, and some of the skeletal remains had kind of turned to ash and deteriorated, but not in the fashion of it caught fire to where it would immolate the whole thing, in just specific spots. Some of the rotting... be an extra 5 years, so this probably be skeleton by this point. Some of the like bones have like cut marks or breaks, or so you kind of gather like these probably were undead, and they have already been dealt with.
Do I see any other doorways going off of this room?
You do. There is a another large set of doors on the other end of the entire room.
Okay, well, I'm gonna head back.
Okay.
I'll let them know what's going on and see if they want me to scout up the other way.
Alright, so you're heading all the way back?
Yeah.
Okay. So you head all the way back after letting everybody know what you already let them know of your findings, so.
Yeah. Well, I'll let them know I'm gonna check out left real quick, and then we can decide where we're gonna go from here. And if Elrana wants to stop and grab mushies.
Always.
Well, you've already been told that it's pretty clear up ahead, so.
To a certain point.
So if you want to head into that room to find that mushroom.
I didn't check for traps, I just did a walkie, so. Because I'm a dumb.
Easy enough for you to retrieve. You have to relocate a spider that seems to have taken up a piece of the box you want to reach into, but you're able to retrieve a mushroom, which it's nothing special. It's a typical fungus that usually grows on like old food.
Mold.
Just some moldy fungus.
Jumbo mold.
Those are two separate things. Which one is it?
What?
Mold or fungus?
I thought mold was a fungus. I'll take that as a no. It is a fungus.
Okay. Where was it at specifically?
In the room that has all the broken boxes. You said you're heading up the other hallway? Okay. Heading up the other hallway, you proceed 30 feet, and it's still hallway. 60 feet is where it kind of opens up into another decent sized room that seems to be kind of like you would probably gather that it's like an office. There's like a couple of wooden tables that have been again long decayed, broken up. Another skeleton that looks like it it's in the middle of the floor, kind of laying face down. But
any books?
There are a couple that would probably be sitting on the like side table in one of the parts of the room.
Are they still books, or are they just moldered beyond?
You pick up one of the books and like go to open it, and as soon as you touch the pages, it just like they're all really old and dried and gross that they just like basically crumble in your hands.
Okay. I'm not gonna take them.
You're pretty much holding like a leather cover over dust.
Any other doorways?
Any what?
Any doorways?
No doorways here.
Okay. Alright. Well, I'll look around.
Which, as you pass the, because this skeleton would probably be more like in its proper, like arrangement, I guess. The skeleton you pass by is roughly like humanoid, yeah, but probably only about, I don't know, like 4-ish foot tall. So like, and given like how far the arms would be apart, given like shoulder width, you'd gather this is probably like a dwarf of some kind. So you're gonna, anything else you wanted to look for, or are you just gonna head back?
I'll look around the room. I'll relay the information, and so while she's going to go make my shoes, I'll look around, see if there's anything worth keeping in here, if it's all just squalor.
You check through, go ahead and make an investigation check.
11. 17.
17? Okay, you check through some of the drawers on the desk, the broken up desk, and you find some more paper that just crumbles. You do end up finding that one of the drawers is locked, but the lock is really like old and like rusted. So you're able to just basically shove a knife into it and turn it, and you hear something like snap. You pull the knife out and your knife is fine, but then you're able to, you assume you broke the lock, and you pull open the drawer, and there's a small little bag in there. And a piece of paper that looks like it's been long crumbled as well.
I will take the bag.
Okay. You hear a familiar metal jingle inside. And upon investigating, it looks like there's about like 10 gold and 10 gold, 5 silver.
Alrighty. Woo! I'm heading back to the group.
The bag itself is just like really old leather.
Yeah, I don't need the bag. I just need the contents.
Yeah. So you just kind of take the coin and chuck the bag behind and head back to the group.
This is going in my pocket because our group pocket's pretty.
You're fine. Just take it. It's 10 gold.
I'm just gonna write it down for now.
Not to mention, despite the fact that none of us would know that you found the money anyway.
Well, it just depends on if I were just monologuing to you
That's
the
true.
whole time. there's a skeleton in the middle, and as I look at this, oh look, this drawer is.
So are you guys sitting to like take short rests or anything while you're here, or are you just gonna keep going?
Do you and Garm need to? Because the rest of us are fine. Well, Asif just needs a break.
Yeah.
I said I'm fine.
I'm fine.
Okay. I couldn't remember if you guys had taken
Kiara!
damage or not.
Go on.
Does anybody want me to check the downward going tunnel, or should we just go on and worry about it later?
Just mold earth and close it up so nothing bothers wyverns.
Okay.
Alright, so you close up one of the tunnels, and you've already investigated the side tunnel, and nothing is going to come out of there, presumably.
I mean, there's a dwarf skeleton, but if that comes out, I think the wyverns can handle that. I can chuck it over the edge and be fine.
You guys are going to come back.
It's going to be a chew stick.
You guys are going to come back, and one skeleton is just trying to, bite them or claw them or whatever, and they just go... Alright. You gather up the group again and start going toward, or down that one tunnel. And all of you end up making it to the room full of, the room with the sarcophagus in the middle.
This one I do want to check for traps. Partially because it's a bigger room and there's a lot of bodies in here.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an investigation check.
Six. Dirty 20.
As you kind of poke around the room, you end up finding that there be on the I believe there are two, and if there's not, there are two now. You see that over by where this is just for general scan of the whole room. Over by the sarcophagus, you can see that there is a glyph or a magic glyph that kind of sits on a part of the sarcophagus to kind of keep people from trying to grave rob. But judging by the look of the glyph, it looks like whatever was there is burnt out. It's either been dispelled or activated, and it doesn't matter anymore. And over by the the door that leads out of here, you can see that one of the stones that make up basically the tile of the floor here is, like, one of them is taller than the others. But as you go to investigate, it's already been disabled.
I'm gonna let them know that, because what kind of axe is probably as
It's a hammer.
It's a hammer.
It's a big like two-handed, like,
Would
maul.
Morzog be interested in it? Because he does I don't know what kind of weapons he does.
He usually does. He has a great sword and a great axe. He usually does big two-handed things. So
Then has Morzog to go look at the big old, hit him with it.
okay. So I guess if you're going through the whole song and dance, then he would do detect magic and identify. If it's magical. So.
Okay.
Detect magic would give him, is it 30 foot or 60 foot? 30 foot. Gives him 30 foot of magical, what is all magical, which all of you light up except for, the skeletons on the ground.
He does not have detect magic. He has identify though.
Oh.
So I'll use my one a day detect magic, 'cause that's my initiate spell.
Oh, okay.
I'll use that.
Alright, so you detect magic, and you see All of you in the party light up, and this hammer definitely lights up.
Okay. Where the heck is that? There it is.
But nothing else in the room seems to.
Okay, and then he can use identify to see if this is one he wants to take, since heaven forbid he get cursed again. So then, will this let me? It won't let me edit this, so but it's a view only.
What do you want him to do?
I was just gonna mark that he used
Oh
it.
yeah, you just gotta keep track.
Yeah.
Alright.
Here's the little map I made, because I will need it in my other rules. Much better.
Okay. He casts Identify, and he goes, oh, this is not bad. I mean, it's got some basic stuff on it, but I mean, whether or not it ends up being like the axe we just fucked with, I don't know. So
What is it?
it's a be a +2 maul, I guess.
Can you tell what? Because with identify, wait, what's identify do? I know with detect magic, it tells you the school of magic,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Which you would pick up. It would technically be an enchantment magic.
okay, and then identify. He learns its properties and how to use them. So does he know what's on it?
He knows that it is a +2.
Okay, so that's the magic.
Yeah.
Okay. Take
But-
it with us.
But Identify does not pick up on curses, so.
We can just put it in the bag for now and then deal with it later.
Okay.
So into the bag it goes.
So you tuck the maul into your bag of holding.
You putting it in yours or I'm putting it in mine?
It doesn't matter.
I'll just put it in mine.
Okay, that works. You have better handwriting anyway, and I'm just writing it on a erase board, which I need to remember to use tissue.
Okay.
Alright,
Just making sure everybody got caught up on note taking and stuff. So as you head to the, is there anything else you wanted to investigate in this room before you walked out?
do I see anything else since your detect magic's
No, you would not. Nothing else in this room seems to be magical.
Oh, so 10 minutes.
Yep.
So,
So you got a little ways down the hall.
I'm gonna stand next to the sarcophagus and rip one of those divine senses, though.
Okay. You cast your divine sense across the room, and you kind of almost feel that sonar ping that just kind of encompasses the whole, or encompasses most of the room. And excuse me. You don't pick up on any, what is it? It's undead, fae, fiend, celestial.
Okay, so anything affected by the hollow spell, and I know the location of any celestial, fiend, or undead within 60 feet.
No fae, fiend. Like, you gather that these were undead. They are no longer. You don't pick up any fiends or celestials. Except for Bastion. who is currently like curiously has his nose stuck in a piece of the armor of one of these things, and is just like he doesn't smell something he likes, so he like sneezes and he walks off. And derp. Oh, and nothing affected by the hollow spell. So pretty clean.
Keep going.
Onward.
Okay. You, which, given how the next part is going to go, you guys head out of the double doors down the dark hallway of the Titan, going up a gradual slope. It's hard to tell with how dark it is and how the tunnels seem to kind of wind. You end up coming through different okay. You end up coming to a section where a part of the cavern has widened out, and you can also see that a section of it had the wall has been gouged, and it you can see outside of the Titan. So another potential spot where you could have landed. Maybe. To reveal the open air outside. And which you could hear the wind coming through the tunnel, just gradually, because of the opening you had behind you, but now because of the the opening you have in front of you. The wind howls as it bends around the massive body of the mountain that once walked. And you can very faintly still hear, the conflict going on outside. Just every now and then you hear, maybe a loud yell or a clang of metal or something. Go ahead and I'll go ahead and have everybody make a perception check.
I didn't do very good. What's that get? Mozart did a 16.
Okay. Alright.
13.
15? Nope.
My own was booty. It's a 5 plus.
What about Asaph?
Mine was a 11.
9.
9. Okay. As you're traversing through this part of the cavern, you take a look outside and see that you hear the conflict outside, but as you go forward, you notice that the immediate area around you seems to almost grow slightly darker. Just almost like a curtain. You pass a certain stepping point and you're did it just get dimmer? And also the air around you just gets chillier, colder, which it's already cold in Vasselheim, but and you're at higher elevation, so it's even colder then, and this makes it even colder still.
God just starts moving slower and slower.
But you take a certain step and you kind of look around and you're like, does it get darker?
I think we made it to the dark thing.
And as you get to what would be about, like the hallway, the part of the hallway you're in is kind of like curved. It's kind of going along this little curvature. You make it about halfway through, before like a glint of a light catches your eye. And each one of you kind of like catch it at different times, but all of you kind of look over, because especially now it's a little darker, and you kind of like are like, what is that? And as you take a second to look, it gets slightly brighter, and then you hear I need everyone to make a Constitution saving throw.
Can't roll good when it fucking matters. Swear to Christ. Add 2 to what everybody rolls.
Alright. So let's do Morzog and Asa first.
12
Did you add 2 to it?
for Morzog.
For
Plus-
Morzog?
With the yes, with the 2. Yeah, because I only rolled a 5 for him, but I only rolled a 3 for me. So
Evasion?
Yeah, evasion.
I forgot about that. Thank you.
Who's a good kid?
Asif has got 17.
Okay. What was Morzog again? Sorry.
12.
12. Okay. Failure. He takes 15 points of force damage. Asa got a what?
17.
Failure. Takes 15 points of force damage.
I failed.
You failed?
Yes.
Okay. 15 points of force damage.
That's fine. I will adjust it as soon as this cast stops being adorable.
So never.
Who's a good kid?
I'm getting you a snuggle.
Mm-hmm.
Was it a fireball?
You snuggle me more than my own cats do.
What did you get, Elrana?
18.
15 points of force damage. Bastion? Fuck, Bastion.
Add 2 to it.
Okay. The 11 still fails.
You hurt the dog.
Yep. Dog's
As long
not
as
dead.
it doesn't murder it.
Dog's not dead. So here's what happens.
How much is it? 15?
17.
17?
You said 17.
I said 15. Everybody has taken 15 points of force damage. I was probably talking really fast, so my bad.
Can I use it? Evasion is for a dex saving throw, though.
Yeah. So it's a dex saving throw against AoE spells and traps.
Yeah. And so I don't think I can see the person who attacked me, so it's not uncanny dodge.
This was technically a trap, but it's a Constitution saving throw, not a dex.
I see.
So here's what happens. So this cone of force energy, this like gray-black energy, like explodes out from this tiny little point in the wall. And you all are flung across the way to the opening. I need everyone to make a dexterity saving throw as you're lifted off your feet and out the opening.
Fuck's sake.
What was I first? Oh, thank you.
I failed.
Asa failed.
Asa probably doesn't care. Bastion made it.
Yay, Bastion.
15. Morzar got a 15.
Morzar got a 15?
Yes.
Okay.
And then for me,
Plus 2?
plus 2. Well, then 17 if that's it. Shit.
It matters sometimes.
What did Asif get?
Plus 2 is 12.
Okay.
I got a 12.
You got a 12? Garm, what'd you get?
I failed.
What'd you get?
I rolled a 1, bud. I failed.
God damn it, dude. Come on.
They're bad today. I don't know what it is.
21.
For Elrana? Fucking right, you did. So Asa failed, Note failed, Garm failed. Am I missing anybody?
No.
Okay. So as the explosion goes off, all of you are lifted off your feet and flung toward the opening. Morzog is able to tumble mid-air and grab a hold of the edge and is now holding on to the edge, not falling. Elrana, same thing. You're able to kind of right yourself mid-air and grab a hold of an edge of the opening to prevent yourself from falling out. Bastion basically is hanging on the edge and is like his claws scraping, trying to pull himself back up. Note, Asif, and Garm. You guys are trying to like right yourself midair so that you can grab a hold, and you stretch your hand out and it slips right through and you're in free fall. Asif takes a second to right himself and starts flapping wings and is fine. So that leaves Note and Garm, who are currently in free fall.
Peerless athlete.
What is gives you advantage on
Athletics and acrobatics. We'll make a reach here.
Okay. Reach for
anything I grab on.
I'll
grab fucking Ace if I have to.
Grab some more, so pulls down.
So okay.
You go away.
I'll have trying to think of how I want to do this.
You can just Misty step back up.
I forgot about that. I was gonna climb see if Asif would grab the bag of holding and climb in it. Like, see if he'd be like, catch this and go in.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're gonna reach your hand out for Asif.
Reach my hand out for whatever I can grab. If there's like notches in the side of this fucking thing, I can grab that.
Um,
I'm looking to flex this athletics score I got.
Okay. So, here's what's going to happen. Because this was my intention the whole time. And, damn it, I want this to fucking happen. So, everybody gets thrown out. Asif has righted himself and is now looking down at a falling Note and Garm and tries to decide who it is he needs to save. Him not being with the party very long doesn't understand or know the dynamic or the mechanic and has to choose somebody.
Before they get that far, can I Thorn Whip one of them?
How far does Thorn Whip go?
It's kind of far.
$30 and Note was in front of us. So if she's going back behind us, then it should be more than enough for me to be able to...
Okay.
And it's a ranged spell, so I can go 30 feet from right there, so I could theoretically reach 60 feet from me.
Okay.
Just attach it to the floor or the wall.
You said
Please,
it's a...
God damn it.
You said it's a ranged spell attack?
Melee spell attack.
Okay. Go ahead and make a melee spell attack against Note's AC.
Never mind.
What did you roll?
A 2.
Okay.
We're fucking
So unless she goes for it, then it doesn't matter.
all aboard the SS.
Which I would
struggle
say
bus.
that she's intelligent enough to know to reach for it, but...
Then I'll give you advantage on it then.
20.
I'll take the damage and grab it.
Go ahead and roll, because it's a cantrip, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll the damage for it.
Sorry. 10.
Oof.
I'll heal
Good
you.
roll.
I'll heal you.
So Elrana flips back and a like vine of a rose bush whips out from the side and rockets toward Note, and as Note reaches out an arm, it wraps around your arm. You can feel the thorns like biting into your arm and the rush of the blood underneath, but it's able to fling you back inside because it does pull, right?
It just pulls 10 feet.
Okay. Is able to pull you back. And Asif starts to make his way to move toward to get a hold of Garm. And as you're free falling, you're unsure if, like, you know, how fast Garm can fly. So you're not sure. You don't know if he'll make it. Because you really don't have much to be able to slow your fall. And a feeling comes over you of like, this might be it. Like, really? After all of this, you do all this cool shit, and now the end of you is getting hit by a trap that sends you flying out into air. And you hear a familiar voice. One that you have not heard for... Okay. Apparently it's a cat. One that you have not heard for the better part of 5 years. A voice that was there for you in a time where you didn't even know what to do with your life. The same voice that helped set you on the path that you are now.
Ow.
Giving up that easily?
Really apt timing for the claws there, Cat. Real good timing there. You're a chit.
Get you in a sensitive area?
Oh, just right in my leg. That's all. Feels real good. Please take the cat. Please take.
Can I pick him up?
Yeah.
Okay. I know some cats aren't very.
He ragdolls, but that's his literal name, so.
The deep, kind of bassy voice just tells you, giving up that easily. And as you kind of open your eyes from closing them, you are now standing in the old training room of the Platinum Sanctuary. And standing over you is your old master. The one who took you in and put you on this path that you are on now. You're being watched by many, both for good and for ill. But this is not the end. For you are still to do great things. And he reaches out a hand.
It's good enough for me.
Save me some time.
You grasp a hold of his hand, and he turns pivots on a foot, and turns his hip and flings you. And you are thrown into a large, sky blue space. And you feel a part of yourself moving that, I didn't know that I had something else there. And you kind of look off to the side to see a mercurial silver form that has stretched out from your back a good 6-7 feet each way before it solidifies and breaks away to show the visage of two large green-scaled wings. And kind of dangling behind you is also a long tail. And the blue sky visage gives way to the current darkened sky until you realize that that's actually happening. And Asif is has flown up next to you and is staring at you, just kind of almost in awe, because from his perspective, you fell out, and before you could go into what is basically terminal velocity, you have grown a set of wings and a tail, and are now flying in the middle of open air. You can feel like a new set of muscles over by your shoulder blades that are currently moving to keep you hovering in the spot. And the tail is basically like stabilizing you. So you gain, for 1 hour per day, you have the ability to grow a pair of wings.
Congratulations.
I will figure out how to put that in here later.
Asa flies up next to you and goes, I did not know you had the ability to fly, otherwise I would not be so worried.
That's fair. Neither did I.
I am confused.
Me too.
Okay. Well, at least we're all on the same page.
Let's go. Let's go back.
Asa flies up, and the rest of you watch as Garm, kind of wobbly, puts himself up to the opening in the side of the Titan and just kind of lands in front of you. And whenever he lands and is no longer in need of his wings, they kind of dissolve into like a mercurial silver and just disappear, as well as the tail. And I believe from there we will go ahead and call the session for the day, and we will continue this next week, where we pick up where the rest of the group will make it to the top of the Titan, hopefully, and see what awaits them. So this has been DexSaves. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.